Senior Fellow for China Strategy at the Heritage Foundation, author of the 100-Year Marathon, Michael Pillsbury joins me. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Greta.
It does seem that President Xi is sort of very cleverly, but I guess obviously trying to push the United States off the world stage, offered to negotiate a peace between Putin and Zelensky, Ukraine and Russia. He's got the deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Now the thing that's just, we've been unable to come to grips with is Israel and the Palestinians. Now he's doing that and meeting with the Palestinian leader. What's going on?
Well, in a way, they're practicing for their future role being the #1 power in the world. They're practicing in various regions where they very secretly invite the two sides together, usually to come to Beijing, and they work on what the issue might be. Then they issue a communique that they've achieved peace. This is extremely good for the China lobby here in Washington, D.C., because who would want to put restrictions on investment in China or worry about an invasion of Taiwan when China is styling itself so successfully as a peacemaker? It's really a brilliant strategy. And I've noticed that the Biden administration doesn't quite know what to do. They don't want to praise what the Chinese are doing, but they also don't condemn it. So it's a kind of paralysis toward China having this rehearsal for their future role as world leader. It's in their own minds.
But
Other people may oppose this over time, but the Chinese are really benefiting from an enormous propaganda budget that they have to try to put a really decent face on their country while they conduct human rights violations and threatening to invade other countries. In many ways, it's brilliant if you want to see it as Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes, being brilliant.
But the thing is, is that, look, if they could pull a rabbit out of a hat and solve Ukraine and Russia, and us not do it, that would be great, because we do want peace. Similarly, it's good that Iran and Saudi Arabia, they're not fighting in Yemen anymore and killing people, and they've got problems. That's good. If they could solve the Israeli-Palestinian problem, how can you object to that? Because, that's just been a nightmare for the world and for the United States and for our good friends, the Israelis. We're sort of boxed in a little bit in that what they're doing is that if they actually achieved it would be something that would be good.
Yes, I think what's going to happen, though, is these agreements will fall apart. They don't seem to have an enforcement mechanism. They don't seem to have a follow-on. Camp David talks, for example, did have specific steps that would be taken. Henry Kissinger's famous Middle East shuttle had specific steps that the Israelis would disengage from the Egyptian line of forces, that Syria would play a different role. This seems to be a kind of one-off propaganda breakthrough where they announce it, everybody applauds, they change their image to peacemakers. Sounds like they've almost got you on board, Greta, and then they don't really have any follow-up. The Americans have to come back in and try to get the deals to work. That hasn't happened.
I'm going to take the last one, but I think we're sort of boxed in is my point on this. It's like, I don't trust the Chinese, and I don't think they have a good motive, but I see what they're doing. Michael Pillsbury, thank you, sir.